It's weird with guys who sniff cocaine and then become born again. They don't want anybody ever to have any fun. They were the party animal, but now that they can't.
They did it. They're retired. Now nobody else can do it.
Everybody has to, conform. All right. A whole bunch of things we got to talk about. I told you the whole Anna Nicole story. I played you all that, and I think we're clear on that. I got a call yesterday from a guy saying, hey, about Prince, we were talking about, hey, gee, too bad Clear Channel, it's a Clear Channel show. It turns out Prince is not a Clear Channel show.
Oh, good.
It's promoted by AEG Concerts West, who I think is the second largest concert promoter. If I'm wrong, but I think they're the second largest concert promoter next to Clear Channel. They want people to know they're out there and they're doing their thing. They own the Staples Center. They own the Home Depot Center in L.A. They own the, I don't know, they promoted a bunch of shows, Eagles, Rod Stewart, and now I guess they're involved with Prince, so that makes me feel better about going to see him. I really don't want to support Clear Channel if I can help it.
Mm-hmm.
Seems
You're
like
going to try to avoid it.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they're all over the place, I just don't dig that company, the way they set me up, the way they put me down, all that stuff.
Now that you've contacted a witch.
Yeah, I think things are going to change in our favor. So anyway, something's been bugging me, and I know this sounds kind of weird, but bear with me as I explain. Yesterday I read on the air this really great thing from the New York Times. It was a editorial by a guy named Adam Cohen, and he said, I'm not a fan of Howard Stern. But, we support his right to do the kind of radio because, you can't hide behind this thing with kids and all this other stuff.
Well, he said if you're going to defend free speech, it means defending
Howard Stern. And it was great and everything, and I was pleased. And then it occurred to me, as I was sitting and thinking about that last night, I've become so accustomed to every story and every sort of supportive thing ever written about me in my career. And I've become accustomed to a little beating I have to take each time. And it occurs to me I've become immune to it, that I don't even get insulted anymore.
You're like a battered wife.
Yeah, I'm such a battered wife that I don't even realize anymore that I'm being battered. I think any sign of kindness is a great sign. And I guess what bothers me about the New York Times piece, and I appreciate them coming out for free speech, but it's like these dudes, even Adam Cohen, they feel compelled to, bash me over the head with a frying pan 500 times and then go, but I support his right to free speech.
And then they rub it and say, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's sort of like the ACLU defending the Klan, the American Civil Liberties Union. They kind of always go, we hate the Klan, we hate what they're doing, but we have to defend them. And I admire them saying that about the Klan, but I kind of, I'm reading this Adam Cohen piece and I'm saying to myself, why does it not bother me that these guys, and you read the thing and it's like, we support Howard Stern's right to free speech, but let me tell you about what a disgusting ass he is, how unfunny he is. He does just potty humor.
First of all, I know he's disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't listen to him, but I know he's disgusting. And I'm sitting there going, gee, no, isn't this a rousing endorsement?
Right.
We got a call from Mayor Giuliani's office.
Oh, yeah?
I guess he was interviewed about me, and he wanted me to know that he not only did the interview, but said some really glowing things about me. And I think one of the things he said in it, too, is where are all of Howard's political friends in this horrible thing that's going on with him? Because he is selectively being chosen. This enforcement is selective. They're not going after Oprah. We still haven't seen that. They're not going after other radio shows. They're not going after Bono, even though they say the F word is wrong. They're not going after Ryan Seacrest, who works for Clear Channel. Clear Channel has just filed, and I'll read it to you later, a thing begging, sucking up to the FCC, saying, please don't find Elliot in the morning on Washington, D.C. station, because we fired Howard Stern already, and we fired Bubba the Love Sponge. So can't you please let this slide? We've got new rules. And stop sucking up, Clear Channel, and begging. It's embarrassing to the industry. Take your lumps, you A-wipes. That's what you do.
Not only take your lumps, but stand up for your right.
Right. You can't have it both ways. Oh, please, can you overlook Elliot in the morning? Oh, great massa.
We know you hate Howard, but you don't hate Elliot, do you?
Yeah. Well, Elliot's done his share of ripping off Howard's act, and guess what? Elliot's got to be fined. And you got to fire him because you have a zero tolerance policy, don't you? You creeps. So, I got to tell you, it's really nice that the New York Times endorses free speech, but it is kind of sickening to see the cowardly sort of notion that you have to go, oh, he's sickening and disgusting. Don't worry, we haven't lost our minds here.
It's almost like I'm going to hold my nose while I defend this free speech.
And you know what? I don't think I deserve that. I think I'm a pretty damn good broadcaster, and the fact that I'm in the business now 30 years and I've been able to hold on to audiences and hold their attention is pretty damn spectacular. I'd like to see someone else do it.
You got to be more than what you're characterized in the press.
And I've survived attacks from the FCC, from program directors, general managers, and everyone else who keeps saying...
reporter?
And what is it everyone's so afraid of? Why is everyone blushing every time they hear about duty? Get over it. Or don't listen if you can't handle it.
The other thing I always hear is how he treats women.
Yeah.
We have never dragged anybody in here.
Yeah, I haven't done a Maury Povich, if you're so offended about women, and sit there and have teenage girls on the show sitting and yelling at their mothers, looking to see whose baby and who the father is, and the father in front of these kids going, I don't want this kid. I mean, I don't even know what because I have porn stars and hookers in here who want to take their clothes off for me? Oh, excuse me. Oh, how am I forcing them into anything? I'm curious as hell. And I'm not uptight about it.
On Maury's show, the headline, the little blurb under this girl's face was, I'm back for the 8th time to see if I can figure out who the father of my baby is.
Yeah. And I'm not, listen, you want to start getting into the evils of society. There's millions of them. I'm just an easy target. So I got to tell you, as thrilled as I am that the New York Times endorses free speech, it's kind of creepy. Every single thing that's written about me, endorsing me, it's like, well, he's a skunk and he's disgusting and I never listen, but we support his rights.
Yeah, first you get called a bunch of names.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to, and I'm sitting there praising the guy, and I'm like, well, what am I doing? Like, I'm thinking about it last night, going, why am I praising this guy, Adam Cohen? He's no fan of mine. He's not. What, because he's for free speech? You goddamn right. You're supposed to be for free speech. You're a journalist.
It's almost a reflex now for people to say, you're horrible.
And then I was reading, one of our fans wrote to Arlen Specter, the senator from Pennsylvania, who's been on my show many times, never had a problem coming on my show and mixing it up with me, and certainly using me when he was down and out. He had his own problems with women. Mm-hmm. He was being accused of being too rough in his defense of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, going and attacking that woman viciously, on the stand.
Anita Hill, I think.
Yeah, he needed some help politically, and I had him in, and we treated him like a human being. And someone had written him and said, gee, this is terrible. What's going on with Howard Stern? Where do you stand? And he sent back again one of those sort of standard letters that say, I'm always interested in finding out where indecency is and blah, 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 blah. Not one of these guys will say, what they're doing is wrong.
Not in the Senate.
Not in the Senate. They're so cowardly. Where are all my political friends?
I was like, we got 2 senators from New York. Can't hear them.
Where's Arnold Schwarzenegger on this? He speaks to Bush. And I'll tell you something. There's no bigger admirer of Governor Pataki than me. And the man who just pardoned Lenny Bruce. He's got George Bush's ear here in New York. He could say, what are you doing to my man? What are you doing? What are you doing? And listen, he's a remarkable governor. He did a beautiful job, taking over from Mario Cuomo, who was a disaster. And I hesitate to say anything negative. I'm very proud of our endorsement of him, and we got behind him when no one did. I'm just wondering where Christy Todd Whitman, she could have said something.
Yeah, she already threw us out.
Yeah, she just basically threw me under the bus, to use Cabby's term. Christy Todd Whitman. So, I'm not the type that calls up Mayor Giuliani and says, hey, Mr. Mayor, I'm a great guy. Can you defend me? I'm happy to hear that he defended me, but I would never ask for it. I would never ask for anyone to come to my defense. I'm, dare I say, too classy for that. And I don't want to put pressure on people. I don't have someone who I pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to pressure government officials to see things my way, which is the American way. You pay a guy a couple of grand.
It costs money.
Yeah. I don't have a lobbyist on my behalf. I just rely on common sense. Now, having said all that, this guy, John Stossel, among millions of people, keeps contacting me, wants to interview me. Another guy who wants to interview me on 2020, the prestigious 2020. Yesterday I received, the other day I told you I got a copy of his book. Howard, come on. I want you to come on. And yesterday he sent me a note. Howard, I heard you considering the interview yesterday on the air and worrying about the spin I'll put on the story. Want to sit down and talk about it? We could do it here at my place. We could do it at a restaurant. We could do it at your apartment, all cameraless. And he leaves me his phone number. And the answer to that is I'm not doing the interview.
You are being courted by these people. This is the way they actually get people to do interviews. They get, they start taking you out to lunch and all that stuff.
Well, let me show you how tricky it is to do business with John Stossel. And by the way, I received a phone call from a very famous actor, and I'm not going to put his name out on the radio. He was very nice to call me. And he said to me, don't do an interview with Stossel. I heard you talking on the air. The guy is a S-K-U-N-K, skunk, period. That was his words. He's not to be trusted.
Well, I told you when I saw what he did to Kelly Osbourne, I said, that guy's got some problems.
I went back in my archives. Because if you remember, I did an interview with John Stossel when I think I was promoting my book.
See, I didn't even recall this.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, this is how they get a hold of you. So let's say I did an interview with John Stossel. Here's what he does to you. First, you get the pompous intro. At the time that I did the interview, Hugh Downs was the host of 2020. And here you get the bashing right over the head, right up front.
Once again, Hugh Downs.
Serious music up on Hugh Downs, who is complete bobblehead. I don't know if the guy's still alive.
Yeah, he is, I think. He's still running.
Barely breathing, hiding out in Arizona somewhere. Retired. Bobblehead. Guy built a living just reading off a teleprompter.
Well, our next piece is not for everyone in the family. It may at times be offensive, but that's a necessary part of the story. So if you have young children and you're concerned, please don't have them watch it.
Now, okay, so
something horrible is about to happen on TV.
When they have a movie on TV with killing, they don't even do that.
No.
Something monstrous is about to happen. Look at the spin going on. I'm concerned about the spin, John. Let's refresh everyone's memory the last time I encountered you.
It is a profile of Howard Stern, the radio personality whose humor is most often crude and vulgar. And while you may not like it, some of us don't, millions of people do.
And in fact, include me in that is what he's saying. I'm good. I hate him.
Now, when they do a profile of Christina Aguilera, they don't go, millions of people like her, but millions of people don't, which is the case. It's the case with anybody who's in the public eye.
Charles Manson gets a better interview.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Intro.
Yeah, they try to be fair with him.
They wouldn't tell people to get away from the TV if they were bringing him on.
And don't forget who Hugh Downs is. He's a game show host who suddenly became a quote-unquote newsman. He started out in the business. He was Jack Parr's Ed McMahon. And then became a game show host on a show called Concentration, and then somehow reinvented himself as some credible newsman. How do you go from game show host to credible newsman? I'll tell you how. You look fatherly on TV.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's continue.
Bits like this that have led women's groups to attack Stern for being sexist. But his critics can get in line. Hispanic and black groups want Stern censured because he's racist.
Now,
so far, so good.
Wow, we're just starting out. And by the way, this has nothing to do with my interview. This is John Stossel writing. his little intros and outros to the sound bites that they'll use, the clips that, of course, are completely edited. And
can't wait for them to get to you now.
So far you've heard, don't watch this. Secondly, most people hate him, including the fatherly guy on 2020. Mm-hmm. And then coming right out of the box, here comes my best friend who wants a party with me, John Stossel, who's going to sit and tell us that blacks are after me, Hispanics are after me, women, everyone's after me.
Groups and groups of people organizing about you.
You would think I'd have to hide out in a cave like Osama bin Laden based on what you've heard so far.
Groups say he should be taken off the air because he violates community standards.
All right. Now, I'm just skipping around. I'm not going to play you the whole piece, but here we go.
I wouldn't want my kids to listen.
I wouldn't want my kids to listen.
To have sex with her dead skull.
However,
in fact, there were people who told me I shouldn't even talk to Stern. People tell me, you're too sleazy. This is going to hurt me, hurt 2020. Well, I shouldn't do this interview.
I doubt.
You know, the spin could just as easily have been, you've been on the air for 30 years. What an amazing career you've had.
Or you have such loyal fans who listen to you every morning and talk about how they laugh alone in a car.
No.
How have you been able to do that for 30 years?
No, so far, he won't listen, you Downs won't listen, his kids won't listen.
We can't find anybody.
Can't find anyone who listens. In fact, in this interview, and I don't have the whole tape of it, but I took him out on the street. I said, well, if everyone hates me so much, because I was feeling attacked and trying to defend myself as best as I could, I said, let's go out on the street and ask people what they think of me. And, of course, I walked with him. They couldn't doctor that one up. And everyone said, we love the show, Howard. But, you know, we walked down the street. I had no problem walking the streets.
People didn't throw things.
We talked to several black and Hispanic human beings who actually turned to the camera and said, oh, I listen every day. We love it.
People didn't aim their cars at you and try to hit you?
No. But here it is. And this guy wants to know why I don't want to do an interview with him? Well, he must be on acid.
I would like to meet the people that told you that. I'd love to meet them.
People despise you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then I said to him, oh, really? Well, why don't we go out on the street? He goes, okay. We go out on the street. What happened? Nothing.
Is funny enough? Don't you make life worse for some people? Skits like Black Jeopardy. Doesn't that encourage racists to be more racist?
Oh, geez, I disagree.
I mean...
What is he talking about?
Oh, it was one relentless criticism, attack after another.
And a racist to become more racist. A racist is a racist.
It's a pretty done deal with a racist.
Yeah, well, I got to tell you, I can't wait to return this phone call so I can set up my next great piece. Yeah, let's have lunch so I can take you and smash you in the head like that wrestler did.
Like last week, you were a little racist, John, but after that Stern show, you're really racist.
Yeah, you know what? I listened to Stern for a week, and now I'm a racist.
Yeah, right.
When you get crazy like that, it's great. It's great. You look like a deer caught in the headlight.
Now I'm talking to him, talking about how much I enjoyed torturing him on the air.
I felt like a deer.
And I loved having that power over you, because I never had that kind of power in my life over anyone.
You got kids?
I am not talking about my family. You came at me about my stuttering, too.
Figures. A guy who stutters gets on TV. I can speak, and I'm not on TV.
So discomfort makes good radio.
I believe so, yeah.
You know, people don't like it when you make fun of us.
I know.
We don't like it.
The whole audience is going, is he going to keep pounding away at this guy? And there's something great about that.
Tension.
And it's real.
You know, that's the only thing I can do. I'm not that talented. Yeah, it's called reality TV that is now sweeping the country.
Yeah, you're going to have to be real, John Stossel.
Yeah.
I have to belittle others in order to make a living.
So I make a joke about it. I go, I have to belittle others in order to make a living, which is not the case that we do that all the time. But a guy like John Stossel deserves it.
Yeah, he's one of the powerful, one of the blessed. He's got a good-looking face. They set him up on TV. He's a millionaire.
Right. And then he'll write me a note.
Nobody gets under his skin.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
I
knew I was
belittling others, insulting just about everyone. And millions of people love it.
Well, finally a positive.
How long far into the piece do you find out some people love it?
So finally, like the New York Times editorial, he begrudgingly gives me a compliment. Yeah. Listen to this.
John, we get...
There's Barbara Walters.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Whose entire show she developed, The View, is this show, just with women.
Didn't include some things because of our particular audience's sensitivity, and there are certain things that were bleeped. How do you feel about censorship?
Yeah, well, we did it because we thought our audience would be offended, and, it is scary what he does, and the children might be influenced by that. But the idea that some government officials are going to decide what speech is worthy of being heard, that to me is scarier still, and I side with Stern on that.
So it's the same as the Times.
So, like the New York Times, glowing defense of me, it's a good bashing, a good thrashing, and then they go, well, we stand up for Stern.
Yeah.
And I'm so used to it by now, I'm almost complimentary when it happens to me because, like an abused wife, I sit there and go, oh, gee, at least they stuck up for me. But you see, that's precisely why the FCC has chosen me as a target. It's not comfortable to fine Oprah, who is so beloved. But we did the same exact bit on the air. Mm-hmm. And so many of you, and this is where my thank you to you comes in, so many of you wrote, you went on a website and you wrote to the FCC about Oprah's show being offensive. So much so, you came to my aid that the Oprah show, where she talks about tossed salad and other things, is the one show that's received almost as many complaints as the Janet Jackson incident.
Not us.
Not us. Oprah. Over 1,900 complaints were filed.
Wonderful.
Now, thesmokinggun.com, and I have a link to this on Howard. Anyway, dear Mr. Power, I mean Mr. Powell, but I recently watched an episode of the Oprah Winfrey Show where she graphically explained to her audience how to lick someone's, and then the word, and use different shades of lipstick to create a rainbow around and erect, you fill in the blank.
Okay.
I was wondering if you also watched this program so that you could apply better techniques to George W. and Mr. Cheney. You are a disgrace to our working class ethics, your ridiculous salary, and your father, and you are a double-talking coward. P.S. Eat ass in November because you're all out. Now, that was pretty good. My twin 9-year-old boys had returned from school and were putting on a DVD. The channel was still set from the night before, Channel 10, WJR-TV. They heard Oprah mention the word anal sex and forgot all about the DVD. They watched for almost something. These are all cut off. When you guys print this stuff out, you got to
check the edges.
Yeah. Oh, man. They watched for almost blank minutes before my wife, putting clothes away, walked by the living room and heard a graphic description of how to best please a man orally. She shut off the TV and she asked the kids what they had heard. They told her a tossed salad is where you do oral sex on the blank. They asked graphic questions. It was 4 p.m., for God's sakes. The FCC should be fined for not doing their job. Get on the ball and fine Oprah. I demand it. I hope you're not holding back because she is black and a woman. The show was obscene. Do your job. I filled out all the required information and still have heard nothing. How do you get away with this at 4 p.m.? Please have the decency to at least respond. The letters are unbelievable. Letter after letter. Thousands. I love that. I mean, there's a million of them. We have them on howardstern.com. We link up to the Smoking Gun, but you read them. Dear FCC, the Oprah Show described with graphic detail a sexual term known as tossing salad. It was so offensive that my child's head literally exploded. Please ban free speech so this never happens again.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, this woman's child's head exploded.
Yes, there's a child out there with no head.
Here's one simply says, Oprah is a sinner. She is obscene. She must be fined today. It's great. It's great. Dear FCC, I just want to say how much I appreciate all of your hard work trying to take down such evils as Howard Stern. Next, please, oh please, go after that mother of harlots, Oprah. Here is an example from a transcript of one of her most recent shows. And then he gives the transcript. As you can see, this is not a subject matter that should be played in the afternoon when some unsuspecting child might accidentally hear this horrible, horrible filth. So onward and upward, Michael. I'll send you a list of books next that I think you should look at. Surely these should be removed from our public libraries. So all of these letters, what you guys did, you went on the website and you wrote the FCC, and now they are forced to rule on the Oprah transcripts, and they have not yet so far. I guess it's taken them a long time. They were able to rule on my transcripts instantaneously.
Oh, it'll take a few years, I'm sure.
Here's another one. As a puppet of George W. Bush, you will not apply the FCC rules fairly. However, you must have some self-respect. I know you're a father. I know your father has put you in every job you've had. But it's time you act like a man and apply the law evenly. Fine Oprah Winfrey for what she broadcasts. This is the first time in my life I've ever written to a government official or lawmaker. So you can be assured that I feel very strongly about the freedom to speak in this country. You can pass this on to your boss. I will support and help in any way I can see so that his administration is put out of office. You will not get away with just targeting Howard Stern. The people will revolt. And man, oh man, I mean, these letters, I am moved.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
That you would stick up for me like this. I'm ashamed that I have to ask you for your help. I really am not in the position to ask for your help because really, I mean, you guys give me your help just by listening and have created a career for me. So this is really way above anything I could have imagined. Here's another one. Address, Michael Puppet Man Powell. Okay, you bunch of hypocrites. Are you going to fine Oprah for indecency? For what broadcast, what appeared on her broadcast? I doubt it. What you're doing is backfiring. Howard Stern is mobilizing those who would not think of voting because they see no difference in the honesty factor in politicians. But we are so angry that we will vote Bush Cheney out of office. With them gone, the puppet man, you, Michael Powell, will be gone too. What a wonderful way to enforce term limits. You are starting a First Amendment revolution. I will rejoice in November to have a new president and vice president. I mean, I don't know. I could read these all day. I'm so moved by them.
Yeah.
Honestly. It's beautiful. I mean, we are in a culture war, and these guys are nuts because, like, the guy even in the New York Times said, what is the fuss? Fart jokes? I mean, come on. What are we talking about? And no, I will not do an interview with John Stossel. He's got to be on drugs to think that I would.
Or think you are.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just an imbecile. Like, I'm going to forget the last awesome moment with him.
The last drubbing you gave him.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I need another drubbing. You know what, dude? You want to prove your worthiness? You want to say you're for the First Amendment? You're a broadcaster? You don't need me for that story. Talk about why don't you do a profile of Michael Powell and the absurdity? You don't need to interview me. Michael Powell needs all the press he can get. You see, the guy, even on his website, has pictures of himself standing next to celebrities. He's so desperate for attention. Interview him.
He's looking to get his name in the paper and be on TV shows.
So, John, sorry, pal. I'm gonna pass.
What, John? You forgot to kick him in the stomach last time you beat him up?
Yeah, needs another shot. So that's what's going on. That's what's going on, you know.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So that's everything I know. Yeah, Vinny.
Howard.
Hey.
Can I read you a very short letter that my friend Michael wrote to the New York Times the day that Adam's piece was published? He got it right away that it was a knock on you. Okay, you ready?
Go ahead.
Adam Cohen's Howard Stern piece was the work of a dilettante. It shows very little true understanding of Howard Stern's on-air persona or of what he's really all about. Characterizing Stern's show as being mostly about flatulence and sex is like saying Warner Brother cartoons are about committing violent acts upon animals. But thanks for trying and for putting a hold your nose and be supportive Stern piece on the op-ed pages of the New York Times. Sincerely, Michael Frember. He got it right away. I didn't even get it. You know?
I didn't either. Like, I read it and went, oh, wow, the New York Times is defending me because I swear to you, a battered wife. I am so used.
You get used to it.
I'm so used to the preamble. You know, about how I suck and I smell and I'm gross and I'm offensive to everyone.
There's always a catch. It's like one big asterisk.
Yeah, and that's why I appreciated the call from Rudy Giuliani's office.
Right.
Who should be the president of the United States, let's face it. I mean, everybody agrees the guy's a great thinker. He's earned his way to the top. I mean, it's nothing to do with his dad. It's He's a whole different kind of man. And you know, he said, where is the defense?
Yeah, where are the friends?
Where are the friends? I mean, the New York Times has got to hold their nose while they defend me. I'm so sick of it, and I guess I'm so used to it.
Well, even when we first started hearing these reports, I was screaming about every reporter they lose objectivity where you're concerned.
Hey.
Wasn't the headline like the First Amendment counts even for people like Howard Stern? I guess that was a catch.
You know, and so I got excited and said, hey, this is great, because it is great to see somebody defending your... you get it. I don't have to keep repeating myself.
But even murderers, they can't call you a murderer until you're convicted. You are just vilified in the press. Before they tell you what happened to you, they always tell you what a scumbag they think you are.
Right.
They always preface it with that.
Yeah. Well, and your friend hit it right on the head. Another hold your nose while I defend Howard Stern piece. Well,
yeah.
So who are these people that are listening to me? What, they're all dirtbags? I don't think so. You know?
It's weird. At your shows, like in Vegas last year, there's so many, like, the majority of your audience are they're upstanding citizens. I don't get it.
Well, of course, but nobody wants to write that.
Well, I always say, I go to the symphony, I go to dance recitals, and, you always think, well, nobody will recognize me here. And everybody gets up at intermission. They go, hi, Robin, hi, Robin, hi, Robin.
Well,
yeah, we go everywhere.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah, some of the nicest people say, oh, Debbie.
Oh, Debbie.
All right, Artie, enough of you.
Me? That was Howard.
Oh, sorry.
All right, hey, Vin, thanks.
All right, take care.
That's a great letter your friend wrote.
Oh, my Debbie.
Wow.
This is me. Oh, Debbie.
Got to take a break.
I'm scratching my balls. I caught myself.
I've limited the amount of political talk and stuff a lot.
You've been very good, actually.
I've been real good about it, but I had to just get that off my chest because there was a bunch of things bothering me, and hopefully it was interesting. All right, we'll be back right after these words. I'll get to your phone calls next.
On drug lord Pablo Escobar.
To entertain his closest friends, Pablo would hire a gaggle of beauty queens for evenings of erotic games. The women would strip and race naked toward an expensive sports car, which the winner would keep, or submit to bizarre humiliations, shaving their heads, swallowing insects, or engage in naked tree climbing contests.
The Howard Stern Show.